Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. You know how this works, right? We take one single really cool topic and we dive deep into it. This week, get ready to virtually travel.
Yeah.
All the way to Papua New Guinea.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm intrigued.
Right. Okay, so we're looking at this tailoring business called Zuli Creations.
Okay.
But they also go by WGM Tailoring. And they're doing some really interesting things. It's not just making clothes. They're actually weaving fashion into the culture there and the whole business landscape.
So they're kind of bridging the gap between tradition and modern business.
Exactly. They're focusing on these two main things, designer corporate wear and school uniforms.
Interesting combination. I wouldn't have immediately put those two together, but I can see how they both kind of play into identity and belonging, in the workplace and in school, right?
Yeah, totally. And the woman behind all this, her name is Mia Manassi. She's the designer, the entrepreneur, the brains behind the whole operation. And she's been doing this for a while, since 1994. And she's based in Hanabata. You know about that.
That name rings a bell.
It's the largest Motu Koitabuan village in Port Moresby.
Okay. So she's really rooted in the community. That's got to give her some amazing insights.
It does. So, think about it. She's been designing for almost 30 years.
Wow. Yeah, she's seen it all. That's a lot of change in the fashion world.
Totally. And probably a lot of changes in Papua New Guinea itself, right?
For sure. So, what does that tell us about her? I mean, her commitment, her understanding of the trends, her deep connection to her community.
Right. It's not just some random designer coming in and saying, this is what you should wear. This is someone who really gets it. Okay, so I'll talk about these clothes, because that's what I'm really fascinated by. Designer corporate wear. What does that even mean in Papua New Guinea? Is it pinstripes and power suits?
Right. I mean, we think of corporate wear, we think of conformity, presenting a certain image.
Yeah, like a uniform almost.
Yeah, exactly. But in PNG, it's a place where cultural identity is so important. So how does Mia navigate that? Does she blend traditional elements into those designs? Or is it more about a modern, global look?
That's such a good question. And it makes me think about the school uniforms, too.
Yeah.
Your uniforms can be a huge part of fitting in, feeling like you belong, especially somewhere like Hanuabada. What's the message behind her school uniform designs?
Well, I think to really get that, we need to understand the Motu Koitabuan people a little bit more.
Okay, tell me about them.
So they are known for their super vibrant culture. Historically, they were these amazing seafarers, traders, and their traditional clothing, they kind of reflected that. And
well,
it had to be practical, right? Because they're on the coast. But it also had these distinctive patterns and colors. So I wonder how much of that heritage, finds its way into Maya's work, especially with those school uniforms.
Oh, absolutely. Especially the school uniforms.
Yeah.
Because kids are impressionable.
Yeah.
It's how do you balance holding on to tradition while also moving forward, right?
It's a tricky thing. And I wonder if there's a risk, that those modern designs could overshadow the traditional elements. Or could this be a way to keep those traditions alive, but in a new way, in a new context?
It's kind of like breathing new life into them.
Exactly.
It's a really delicate balance, isn't
It
it?
is. And, it's not just about fashion. This tension between globalization and preserving heritage, it's everywhere. And Mia's work, it might be a really cool example of how those forces can, coexist, maybe even work together, complement each other.
Yeah. Okay, so for our listeners out there, clearly everyone listening is super into fashion and culture and all that. What's the takeaway from Mia Manassi's story?
I think it shows us just how powerful entrepreneurship can be. We think of it as making money, growing the economy, but it's so much more than that. It can be this incredible way to express your identity, maybe even shape your culture.
That's so well said. It's inspiring.
Oh, for sure.
To see how Mia's taken her passion, her heritage, and built this thriving business. It's a good reminder that tradition and innovation, they're not mutually exclusive. They can work together.
Absolutely.
And that's something I want everyone listening to think about. How many other entrepreneurs out there are doing this in their own way, in their own corners of the world, blending the old and the new? It's pretty cool stuff, huh?
Yeah, it really is.
Awesome. Well, that is it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.